Hello, welcome everyone to the December product updates webinar. Very excited for you all to join. Just give it another minute for a couple others to join, and then we can get started with the content. We'll give it one extra minute just for everyone to join. Did anyone hear about why vampires are bad product managers? It's because they refuse to meet with stakeholders. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Trust me, that's not the presentation. Just to start. Okay, give it another 30 seconds here. On that note of vampires being bad product managers, I hope they don't get too cross with me for that joke. I know that joke kind of bites. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the most anticipated event of the year. It's the Fieldwire 2023 product update webinar. I'm thrilled to be your host today as we embark on a journey through cutting edge advancements that will revolutionize the way you manage your construction projects. My name is Andrew White, and I'm a product operations manager. That means I help drive operational efficiency in our product and engineering teams. I'm going to be your host today. So, as we know, the construction software landscape is evolving at an unprecedented pace, and so is Fieldwire. In the next hour, we'll unveil game-changing features and enhancements that redefine efficiency, collaboration, and success in the field. But before we dive into the exciting details, let me first take a moment to express my gratitude. Your support and valuable feedback have been the driving force behind our pursuit of excellence. Today, we're not just presenting updates, we're celebrating a shared commitment to transforming the construction industry. Whether you're a seasoned construction professional, a project manager, or a tech enthusiast, this webinar is designed with you in mind. We've listened to your needs, observed industry trends, and poured our passion into crafting solutions that will elevate your Fieldwire experience to unprecedented heights. So get ready to witness features that will make your projects smarter, your teams more connected, and your results more impressive. Also, feel free to ask any questions throughout the webinar because we'll send a prize to one lucky winner who poses a question. But before we get into the actual content of the webinar, I'd like to pose two questions to the audience. The first, I'd like to know what trade are you part of? And the second is what Fieldwire plan are you on today? And in a second, we're going to go ahead and launch a poll that's going to pose those two questions. Okay, so we got the poll up. Thank you everyone for providing your responses to the poll. Give it another second here just to collect the remainder of the responses, and then we can proceed on. Hope that everyone's having a nice morning wherever you are. I'm having a very nice morning presenting this webinar. Cool. And now we just have one more question. And we'd just like to understand what type of Fieldwire plan you're on today, or the role in your company. We'll give it another couple of seconds here just to collect those responses. Thanks everyone for filling out this poll. It's quite helpful for us. Great. So just diving into our agenda today, we're going to go into our 2023 releases and plans, our project management tools, and within the Fieldwire account. But I have a very special treat for everyone on the call today. We're actually going to have a few members of our product team present these features and the things that they've worked on. Up first is Senior Product Manager, Rachel Brown, to chat about some of the recent releases and plans and markups. You can take it away, Rachel.
Thanks, Andrew. I will just get myself set up here with my screen. Yep, as Andrew said, hi everyone. I'm a senior product manager here at Fieldwire. I work with a couple of our engineering and design teams, and those teams focus on what we consider our field part of the product, which are things like viewing plans, managing tasks, and creating forms. So I'm here to show a few of the features we've worked on this year related to plans. The first one to show is our new markup symbols capability, which is the ability to stamp markups onto a plan from a library of pre-made symbols. So you can highlight areas on the plan that you want to call attention, or create a visual record for as-builts, for example. And with all of these, I'll talk through the examples right now, and then I'll jump over to Fieldwire and I'll actually give a quick demo of how these are used. The second change to plans, and our goal here with this one is really to make it easier and faster to mark up plans, is the ability to batch edit your markups. So we change the way that you select the markups that are on the plan. So you can now choose the cursor tool and drag to make a selection. And once you have that selection, you have the option where you could batch edit a variety of the properties that are shared across those markups. And that could be markup symbols or other markups or even tasks that are on the plan. Once you have that multiple selection, another new feature that we added is the ability to copy and paste that selection. So this can be done across the same sheet, or even across different sheets in the same project, or across projects as well. So if you have a repeated pattern of some markups that you realize, for example, in this example, it's like the same layout of an office, you can easily copy and paste to speed up your workflow. And the last thing related to plans that we wanted to show is the ability to export a summary of your markups. The features that we showed before this are all available to all users. Markup summaries are available to pro and higher users. Markup summaries, this is the ability that I'll show in just a second to export your list of summaries and digest that into a form that might, for example, if you have measurements, you could total up the measurements on that form or on that plan to use for a takeoff, for example. So now I'll jump over to Fieldwire and I'll quickly walk through just how all of those things work. So first one is our markup symbols library. I've got my example here where I've got a couple of identical offices. I'm in my recently used markup symbols section, but we do have a variety of other sections that are specific to certain trades available. So I'll just quickly say that, you know, maybe we're gonna have a desk set up here. And so I've got a few. Maybe I don't exactly like what I did here, and so I'll grab my selection selection tool, sort this out, and I'll realize like, okay, I actually wanted these two to come over here, perhaps. And then I could actually copy and paste over here and have the same markups indicated over here. And then the last thing I can do, I'll just show how you trigger this for now, but I would export the markup summary here in the actions menu, and I'll get emailed a report of all the markups that are on this plan. Now jumping over to, we're actually going to have another poll question that's going to pop up, and then we're going to hear from Colleen.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Just gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen here. Oops. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for the update on the field side, Rachel. We're going to jump into talking about some of our project management tools, which are more focused on mostly people who are sitting in a trailer in the office during the day, more things you'll be doing on your desktop. But as usual, these things are going to be available on mobile as well. So my name is Colleen Cahill. I'm a product manager on the project management team, and I'm focused primarily on our RFI submittal and specification tools. And I'm joined here by Joe.
Yeah, I'm Joe Fitzpatrick, product manager here, focused on our financial tools we'll be checking out. So our change orders tool today that we'll be taking a look at. And Colleen, I don't think we're seeing your screen just yet.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, are you seeing that now?
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, so thanks for answering the last poll. It's really insightful for us to know who you're collaborating with on Fieldwire, but regardless if you're just collaborating internally with your own company or with multiple others, we have something for everyone today. So one thing that we released earlier this year is a concept called Lead Company, and this is primarily for those of you who are collaborating with other companies on our project management tools. So let's say you're a general contractor and you have many of your subcontractors on Fieldwire with you, but you also have your architects and your engineers, and you don't necessarily want your subcontractors sending questions or their submittals directly to the architect. GC can nominate themselves as the lead company, and this makes it so that all documentation has to flow through them. So anytime a subcontractor creates an RFI or a submittal, by default, it goes to the GC or the lead company in the scenario, and make sure that their review gets stamped on it before sending it off to anyone else, like the architect or other consultants. So that should streamline documentation and make sure that we're sticking to those contracts established at the beginning of the project. And for those of you who are just tracking things internally on our project management tools, we have the ability to assign RFIs and submittals to an email address rather than a project user. We'll take a look at a demo of this here in a minute, but this allows you to send RFIs and submittals directly from Fieldwire to someone who isn't necessarily signed up and utilizing your project, whether they are just using another tool or they are using just email and doing things the old school way. So we can jump into a demo of this so you can see that. So if I'm here on an RFI, I have a question about my outlet placement, and I can go ahead here and assign and send this to an email address. So I'll switch from my project user to an email, and I can type in an email address here. If I happen to type in an email of someone who's already on the project, I will be notified to assign it to them as a project user so they can jump into the project and answer it for themselves. I can also add watchers here and send them an optional message. And when I assign this out, it's going to show the assignee as that email address so that we always have Fieldwire as the source of truth, and everyone who logs in knows that this RFI needs to be answered by this email address. But since this person isn't necessarily on Fieldwire, they will receive an email notification with the question and all of the attachments from the RFI. And for whoever's managing this within Fieldwire, you can easily answer on behalf of them just by clicking this blue button here, and you can add an attachment. Let's say they sent me a copy of their own RFI template, and I can say, see answer attached. Go ahead and add that answer, and we show you here that this was submitted on behalf of this other person. So it's not saying that I answered it, because that wouldn't be exactly accurate if things got touchy and we had to have some litigation on this one. So pretty easy to keep this all tracked within Fieldwire and always have that source of truth. And with that, I will hand it off to Joe.
Awesome. Thanks, Colleen. Get my screen situated. One second. Cool. So, good to talk to everybody. Like I mentioned, I'm Joe Fitzpatrick, product manager focused on our financial tools. So what we'll be checking out today is our newest feature. We released our change orders module. This is included in the Business Plus tier of features. So along with that, you get RFIs and submittals as well. A couple of things to note for this module. This is, one of the things we've heard from our customers that, they want a way to manage their change orders within Fieldwire, to have all their documentation within one place. So that's kind of the idea behind building this feature. We want to allow people to create, track, and manage change orders when there's a impact to the original scope on the project, to make sure all of your costs that you're entitled to is being tracked, and you're making sure you're following up on getting those approved. You can use this whether it's just your own company on the platform or whether you have multiple companies on the platform. So kind of flexible to how you want to use it. And also one of the things we wanted to highlight with this is what we can kind of see in this video. The top bar of our list page gives you some quick insight into the overall financial health of your project. So you can just get a quick snapshot at like what we call the scoreboard of your project. So we'll dive into a quick demo of our change orders feature. I have a demo project set up here. And like I mentioned, first thing we kind of see is this scoreboard up top showing us all of our change orders summaries by status. So we see we got about 6,000 in draft, means it's not yet submitted. You can kind of think of this as in progress or a ROM type of change order. And it's only one, so it's this weather delay one we're going to check out. We can also see we have about a little over $5,000 in approved change orders and about 2,100 in rejected change orders. So it gives us just a little insight into our overall financial health. Like our other modules, we can always generate reports if we want to take this information outside of Fieldwire. So I've already generated one utilizing my company filter. So we're only looking at change orders associated with my company. And this is the report, what it looks like. It mimics the view of the list page. So however you have it filtered, it will print out a report accordingly to follow that. And you can take that, use it however you'd like. So let's check out a change order that I've already mocked up. We're saying this one is a weather delay. We got some nasty weather in January, got rained out 3 days, and we want to track that unaccounted for cost for those weather delays. So we listed the reason as a weather impact. Here's the other reasons we can add. So if you have an RFI and a change the design or an owner change, we can add those in there as well. We'll come in here for the schedule impact and say, yep, that's about 3 days. We're listing out the description, exactly what this change order is for. If we wanted to add any watchers, we can do so just like in our other modules. And one thing to take a step back for the change orders tool, you'll probably notice it's pretty similar to the look and design of the RFIs tool. So if you're familiar with RFIs or submittals, you should be able to pick up change orders pretty quickly. So in the meat of this change order, the cost table, we have a couple lines already included in there for our foreman, 24 hours, and our superintendent. If we wanted to add another one, as easy as just adding a click there, and all these rows calculate out horizontally and vertically, so we can get a snapshot of that. I've also added in a weather report just so we have some backup documentation for the client, make sure they understand what this is for. And if this looks good, we're going to go ahead and submit it for approval to our client, Kathy. We'll skip a due date and we'll go ahead and submit it to her. This is what the non-editable view looks like. And for the sake of this demo, I'm going to say Kathy's provided us a response maybe outside of Fieldwire. So I'm just going to go ahead and respond on her behalf. She said, hey, things look good. I understand those weather delays. Those are legitimate. So we'll say, looks good, looks acceptable. We'll respond. And that's it to get an approved change order. Just a couple of steps. If we do ever want to take this individual change order outside of Fieldwire, like our other tools, we can download a PDF of that individual change order. Got all of our documentation live linked to it. So we can check that out. And then we can also take it, email it out if we did want to email this to somebody not on Fieldwire as well. And so that is pretty much it for our change orders tool. Like I mentioned, one of our newer features. So if you have interest in it, feel free to reach out to us so we can go a little deeper on these flows with you. And that is it for the change orders portion. We'll switch gears, and I think we have another poll question up next. So how are you currently managing your change orders?
Thanks, Joe. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. And I'm back. Thanks, Joe and Colleen. I'm back to show a few other changes that we made this year. These are at the account level. The first one is to take a look at our new project filtering. This is something that folks were interested in because they want to better organize or find their projects when they're on the projects list. And again, I'll show all of these in just a minute. There's a new project filter button. So you can take a look and you can filter by the label on the project, the owner of the account that the project is from. So if you're on projects that are from your own company, as well as projects from other companies, you can use this to find those external projects, for example, where you might not remember the exact name of the project, but you remember who it's from. And then you can also look at the recently modified projects, for example, or if you remember when it was last modified. Next item that we added that we wanted to tell you about are account checklists. This is available for business and business plus users. Similar to how we have account forms today, we added checklists at the account level. So you can create a checklist that's commonly used and pull that checklist from your account level onto the different projects where you want to use it. And the final thing we wanted to mention is the account CSV task report. This is the ability to create a CSV, so like a spreadsheet, something that you can open in Excel or something similar to that. Also for business and business plus users, it gives the ability to export the tasks on a variety of your selected projects into a single task report. So you can use that spreadsheet to compare or combine information across those projects. We'll now jump into a demo of these items. First is the project filters. So you'll find that button right here. And I've got a variety of labels, for example, that I can filter my projects on. I'm gonna clear all those out. I can also check, maybe I remember when I created it. So I wanna look for that. So just another way to organize your projects. Next thing I'll show are account checklists. So here I've got account forms and account lists as we've had in the past, and the new account checklist item. So I manage this just like I manage the checklist on a specific project. I can create a new one here at the account level, but I'll just pull up one that I've already created, hazard communication, and then this is just something standard that I'd probably want on all of my projects, just to track in the setup phase or early on. And then once I've created it here at the account level, I'll go into one of my projects here. Oops, I wanted to search for my project. And what I'll do is I'll go to the project settings. I think this is the easiest way to get it. I'll manage my checklist, and then I'm going to import account checklist, and I'll just choose that hazard communication option, import it to the project. Now it's here available. So when I go to tasks, if I did want to create a new task that's like hazard management plan, then I can pull in, actually wrong button, pull in from my existing checklist on the project, all these check items, and they'll jump right in. Just for the interest of not switching apps again, I won't show the cross-project account task report right now, but that is a spreadsheet similar to the examples that you've seen of our different spreadsheets. And you can also, if you're on Business or Business Plus, you can try that out yourself and take a look. I think we have one more poll question for you, and yeah, how do you primarily access Fieldwire?
Great, thank you, Rachel. And thanks to all the PMs for presenting all of those recent updates from 2023. Again, feel free to post any questions within the chat. We'll be getting to these towards the end of the presentation. And like Pranathi mentioned, we'll be picking one lucky winner to receive a Fieldwire t-shirt if you pose a question. So be sure to get those in. Up next, we're going to be looking ahead to a new feature that's under development that we're quite excited about. So we've been investing some time and resources into expanding our integration suite by providing a one-way sync between files stored in Google Drive and SharePoint and between the files in your Fieldwire project. It's not just going to be a one-way street, it's going to be a highway of efficiency that links your project documents in a way that's downright magical. Now, here's the kicker. This feature is not a far-off vision. It's in the works, actively being crafted, and it's prepped to hit the stage and steal the spotlight sometime early next year. So be on the lookout for this. It will be available on a business plan and above. And yeah, we're quite excited to expand our integration suite. So we've just given the grand tour of our latest and greatest updates. I hope that you're as thrilled as we are. Who knew that construction software could be so exhilarating? I didn't until I started working at Fieldwire. Now, before you rush off to your next meetings, we'd like to open the floor to questions, and we want to keep the conversation going. So I'll just read aloud a couple of questions that we've received, and feel free to post any new ones in the chat. Let's go ahead and get started. So with this first question we received, what is the best way to move tasks and checklists across all jobs? We tried copying from existing, but they don't transfer over. Our tasks remain the same across jobs. Rachel, this seems like it might be a good question for you. Would you like to answer it?
I'd be happy to take this one, Andrew. So there's a different answer for tasks and for checklists. For checklists, I recommend using the account checklists that I just showed a couple minutes ago. It's probably after you asked. That'd be the easiest way to have that checklist easily available that you can pull into all of your projects. For tasks, what our team would recommend is you can export those tasks from a project where you already have them set up in a CSV format, which, like I said, you can open that in Excel or anything like that, or you can even create a new Excel file that holds your kind of master list of your tasks. And then what you can do is on the Tasks tab, there's an Import Tasks option, which gives you basically you could copy and paste that spreadsheet into the Import Tasks module, which looks basically like a spreadsheet, and then it'll populate all those tasks in for you. So you don't have to manually create those each time.
Cool. Yeah, I think the account checklist is certainly going to save a lot of time and effort when it comes to recreating tasks that are going to contain the same activities. Thanks, Rachel. Let's move on to the next question. In the context of RFIs, if a person responds to that email, where does it go? Would you like to take that one, Colleen?
Yep, I can answer that. So if I were to assign that RFI to Andrew's email and Andrew just clicked reply in Gmail or Outlook or whatever he's using, it will fill out my email address as the reply to. So that will go back to your inbox, and you can then upload any documents that they included or copy and paste any responses that they replied with.
So I can reply directly from my email?
Correct.
Awesome. That's quite handy. Let's move on to our next question. We've been using the forms function in field management for RFIs, submittals, and change orders. So it appears the PM function offers more robust capability. Is there an overarching difference between field management and project management?
Yeah, I can take that one. So if you've joined any of the other Fieldwire webinars, you've probably seen the endless ways that you can use forms and tasks to manage pretty much anything on your project. And the goal of those things is to be really flexible. Whereas the difference with project management is that we're trying to build out these workflow tools that are really specific to the common workflows that happen, like RFIs, submittals, and change orders. So it is going to have specific statuses that are commonly used on all different types of projects. And it has a little bit more of a robust permission set where it depends on which company you're in. That's something that's introduced with project management as well. So I can't go in and edit anything that someone in another company has created, because we want to make sure that everything stays as documented by those people. So that's just a couple of the main differences.
Cool. Thank you. Let's see, our next question. What platforms do you currently integrate with? I can take this one. I think our two main platforms that we integrate with to provide a two-way sync are Box and Dropbox. And then we also offer an integration with OneDrive as well. So those are the top three platforms that we presently integrate with. You can also upload any content that's stored in Google Drive to the Plans, Photos, Files tab. So those are some of the main platforms. We have more information on our knowledge base as well if you'd like to check that out. The URL is just help.fieldwire.com. So we can send that out later when we send the webinar recording. Let's see, our next question. Just gonna pull it up here. An important tool that I'm hoping for from Fieldwire is a scheduling tool using a conventional Gantt chart for project timelines. Is this in the works?
Thanks for the question. So we do have the ability to view our tasks in a Gantt view. However, we don't see the role of Fieldwire as replacing your Microsoft project or P6 or something like that with a sophisticated Gantt tool. So this isn't something that's currently in the works for us. We see Fieldwire more as kind of like a 2 to 3 week look ahead. That's where you can do some tight scheduling, and further out, you're keeping track of your tasks, but not keeping track of your whole project schedule. That said, that's something that we could change in the future, but not currently within our plans.
Cool. Well, thanks, Rachel, for the comprehensive answer. I think we have time for one more question. The change order tool seems to be very well set up for projects using a time and materials contract. What about stipulated sum contracts where you wouldn't want to disclose hours, rates, etc.?
Yeah, so how we have it currently designed is anything you add in to your cost sections or your markups will be visible upon export, or if the person is in Fieldwire as the approver. So they will see those. So today, if you didn't want them to see certain items or just summaries, I would recommend totaling those elsewhere and then plugging in that final total into Fieldwire. Probably just utilizing the other cost section if you just want to put one total in there. If you wanted to break out your markups, you could do so beneath that. But if not, just plug everything into one line item to track it.
Cool. Let's see, we've got a couple more questions in here. Have you seen people using markup summaries to do takeoffs?
I'll take this one. Yes, we definitely have seen this. There's not a quick way for me to take over the screen share, I think. So I'll just, perfect. Okay, I think I will be able to share my screen. Give me just one second. Okay, so yep, we've absolutely seen this. Here's an example of how your symbols, for example, would look on an export. This is just the sheet that I was marking up earlier. So I could use this, for example, in this school, we've got a couple of sinks. We'll assume this is like a standard part across the project. And so I could total this up. I'm in Google Sheets, but you could use that or Excel to do the totaling for you based on seeing the same symbol name, for an example.
Cool. A closing question, can you share any resources about the recent changes? So yeah, I think kind of one of our best resources to just stay up to date on recent changes is through our knowledge base. Again, you can access our knowledge base by going to the website help.fieldwire.com. I think we can send that out. In addition, we've recorded this webinar, so we'll send the recording out to everyone who's attended, so you can take a look from there in our follow-up email. And I do want to thank everyone for attending today and for posing all of the great questions. That's going to wrap up the QA portion of the webinar. Thank you again for attending. In addition to the recording that we're going to send out, we'll also be sending a short survey just to let us know how we did. Please take a couple of minutes to help make future webinars even better. And finally, I'd like to close by just announcing our winner, Mr. Chris Murphy. Thank you for posing questions. We'll be contacting you separately just to send out a Fieldwire t-shirt. And for the rest of the participants and the attendees, you'll definitely have an opportunity to win a Fieldwire t-shirt of your own. Just attend a webinar in the future and pose a couple questions, and you might be our next winner. Great. So yeah, I think we're good. Thank you all for attending, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.